This video will show you how to successfully export playlists in iTunes and import them to a new library. When we open iTunes, we're going to take this client, for example, and we're going to imagine that this playlist is completely done. I will note that this default view of a playlist in iTunes I don't find to be the most efficient, but if you go to View, View As, and pick Songs, that is the easiest way to see the most tracks. Now we have this playlist selected here. We're going to go to File, Library, Export Playlist. We're going to pick the desktop, whatever account we're using. You should be able to do that by either clicking on the desktop over here on the left or using the shortcut Command D. Instead of putting all these playlists right on the desktop, which we kind of indirectly are, I would suggest we make a folder first called Playlists. And in here we can save this with the following naming scheme. For a wedding and most events, required is done as a 00 dash required, as you'll see already named in iTunes. We'll save this. And then I'm going to double check my playlist folder, and we see that that is there. So now, just for the sake of showing how to import a playlist, I'm going to delete this one here. Delete this, and we'll see by going to File, Library, Import Playlist. If I pick that same playlist, it will import. However, it doesn't put it in the folder I've selected. It will generally just put it down here at the bottom. So I will go and drag that to where it's supposed to go, and we'll see that the playlist is there. And I'm going to change my view back to Songs. For this to work, the music library must be already synced. If this song isn't in the library, we can tell one of the ways that if we look at this playlist here, we can see the size is 3 kilobytes. This doesn't have any music in it. It just has the information of what songs to pull and put in this playlist. So it does require that you've already synced your music library for that to work. So now we know how to export and import a playlist. When we're done exporting playlists, so in case you're building a weddings required, like, priority list, and so on and so forth, and guest requests, we need to put them in the appropriate place. Since we're working here on Sonia and Will's wedding on June 22nd, we're going to go to the Office Drive, go to Clients, we're going to go to Confirmed Events. Notice I'm double clicking on these. I ask that you double click to open the folder rather than expand or explode, however you want to call that. Because when you do this on the Mac server, it does this for everybody using the Mac server. So if I leave this and open up somebody's account like this, Jim, Erica, and everybody else in the team, when they open the folder, they're likely to have this be the case. And it's really sloppy for everybody else. So it's kind of a weak point in the Mac server, but just to keep it clean, instead of expanding the folders that way, it's best to double click and open them. So we're in Confirmed Events, and Sonia and Will's wedding is June 22nd, so I can find the year, month, and day, open this up, and these playlists go in there. Case in point, you can see by default we had all these folders exploded, and so when someone opens them up, everything's open. If we go to their day of event folder, it's really important that stuff goes there. And we have a music playlist folder. You could just drag all those playlists in there. I generally rename these to playlists because music playlist is a kind of a redundant descriptor. And put those in there. And now that I've got the playlist, I can see the file size. It's 3 kilobytes, which is the same size as the one on the desktop. We don't need to leave this on the desktop because it would just sit there. So I'm going to delete the playlist off the desktop and, of course, empty the trash. And now I can go back, and Will and Sonia have their playlists. In this case, only one is an example, but would typically have their required, like, priority, and guest request if they do have them.